Welcome, parents and guests. Thank you for coming today. We fifth graders are going to present Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. But first, we would like to give you a little background information.
When our country began in 1776, the Declaration of Independence said, all men are created equal. Sadly, our nation continued to have slavery for almost another 100 years.
Then, in 1863, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation to free the slaves. But even though the paperwork said they were free, black people were still discriminated against.
They weren't allowed to eat in certain restaurants. They weren't allowed to use the same public bathrooms as white people. They weren't allowed to go to the same schools as white children. And there were jobs they weren't allowed to do. Inhale.
About the part you know black people even made sit in the back to the buses. Stand in front of the white people.
Of course, many people thought this was unacceptable. Martin Luther King Jr. worked very hard to try to change things peacefully using nonviolent protesting methods.
On August 28, 1963, while Congress was debating a civil rights bill before them, Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the leaders of a massive protest march on Washington, D.C.
More than 250,000 people, a fifth of whom were white, gathered in front of the huge statue of Abraham Lincoln at the Lincoln Memorial.
Several people spoke that day, including famous movie stars and singers. But the speech we remember now, nearly 60 years later, was the one given by Martin Luther King Jr.
Dr. King came to the Lincoln Memorial that day with a speech he had prepared about how African Americans were suffering. But just before he began to give that speech, a gospel singer named Mahalia Jackson called out, "Tell them about your dream, Martin, tell them about your dream."
So Dr. King set aside the speech he had written and spoke from his heart that day.
He spoke about his dream that all people of all races, colors, and backgrounds would someday live together in peace and harmony. That is why his speech is called
I have a dream.
But 100 years later, the Negro is still not free.
100 years later.
The life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination.
100 years later.
The Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity.
100 years later.
The Negro is still languishing in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. So we have come here today to dramatize the shameful condition. In a sense, we have come to our nation's capital to cash a check.
Where the architects of our republic were the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence.
They were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall
he has nothing for which to vote.
Some of you have come fresh from narrow jail cells.
Some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality.
You have been the veterans of creative suffering.
Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive.
Go back to Mississippi.
Go back to Alabama.
Go back to Mississippi. Go back to South Carolina.
Go back to Georgia.
Go back to Louisiana.
Go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities.
Knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed.
I say to you today, my friends, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
I have a dream that one day, on the battles of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood.
I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state smoldering with the heat of injustice, smoldering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin but the content of their character.
I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, where the governor's lips drip with the words of interposition and nullification,
Little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight.
The glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together.
This is our hope.
This is the faith that I go back to the south with.
With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope.
With this faith, we will be able to transform the jingling discords of our nation into beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to stand up for freedom together.
knowing that we will be free one day.
This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to see what the new meaning.
My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring.
And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true.
So let freedom ring from the Portuguese coast of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the slopes of California.
But not only that, let freedom ring from the Stone Mountain of Georgia.
Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi.
From every mountainside, let freedom ring.
And when this happens, when we allow freedom to ring,
When we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children
black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics,
will be able to join hands in singing the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty, we are free at last!
Please join us in singing the song Dr. King referred to in his speech, My Country 'Tis of Thee.
My country 'tis
could see, Dr. King loved our beautiful America, but he also stressed that no matter where you are in America, it is crucially important to
Let freedom ring. This dream of peace and freedom is still desperately needed to come true today. That all people of all races, colors, religions, and backgrounds will someday live together in peace and harmony.
Please join us in repeating Dr. King's impactful quote.
In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Martin Luther King Jr.
We encourage you to go out from here today and continue towards making his dream come true. We want to be the ones standing up for justice rather than the silent bystanders.
Let's be upstanders, not bystanders.
Thank you for listening to our presentation of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech called
I Have a Dream.
Hey, done this for nearly 25 years. I still get choked up. So I just wanted to say how much I learned this week, last 2 weeks in doing this, and I'm so proud of you. Let's give them another hand. They did marvelous. This is our third performance, and what would you guys rate this as? Your top one, I would. Wouldn't you say? Well done, really good. So there are some people that we definitely want to thank. And we have our tech team. We have Griffin Hambrock and Me Doan. Can you guys stand up in the back? You guys stand up and wave. There you go. And I have two other people I would like to thank. First of all, Ms. Terry Lynn, who has tirelessly been out here. Come on over. And she has just been such a godsend helping. It's hard to put on with one person.